Hi, how you doing? It's GhostRobo. Welcome back to another Q&A. Take your questions from Twitter. Follow me there if you want to have yours be featured. Twitter.com/GhostRobo. We've got a nice slate of 10 questions. Last time, they covered all sorts of subjects and topics, and today's are equally insane. The first one comes from It's Apex Spacey, who wants to know, Ghost, are you the Illuminati? And this question gets asked all the time. It's a big one I always see. What's with the diamonds? What's with the pyramids? The eyes? Who are you? Where are you from? What is GhostRobo? And most of it is because I wear shirts like this that have big old diamond triangular pyramid eyes. Unfortunately, I cannot reveal the reason. Next up, Ash666 wants to know, Ghost, which game for the remainder of the year do you think will be the biggest surprise and the biggest flop? Keep things back on the video game train. Biggest surprise, biggest flop. Shadow of Mordor might have been the biggest surprise, but I'm going to go and say Lords of the Fallen ends up being the biggest surprise. That's a game that's sort of akin to Dark Souls, and I think it fills a nice space this year for a hardcore action game while people wait for Bloodborne. So Lords of the Fallen for my surprise. Biggest flop? This is a tough one. You never want anything to flop, but what am I worried about? I mean, Destiny is kind of, I think, the biggest flop of the year for me, but in terms of what's upcoming, I worry about Far Cry 4. I'm actually going to play it very soon, so I'll be able to give you guys many more details. Fingers crossed that one turns out fantastic, but I'm concerned about that game. I think AC Unity is going to be amazing, but will Far Cry 4 be able to hold up its end of the bargain to Ubisoft greats in 1 month? We'll have to see. Shun Nai asks a great question, one that's very near and dear to my heart. Goes, who is your favorite singer, rapper, band ever? And this award goes to Drake. I don't even really know why I have so much love for Drake, but the dude just does it all and does it so well. His songs are incredible. I think he's kind of a cool guy. He's not a super jerk in terms of rappers. He hasn't shot anybody, at least that I know of, and his music is really, really good. He's able to vary things up from stuff like 0 to 100 to all of his lovely duos with Lil Wayne to Hold On We're Going Home. He's got a great voice, at least I think so, and he sings, he raps, he does it all. I wish I would have seen him in concert. I missed the Drake vs. Lil Wayne tour, and I'm such a fool for not going. It was basically in my backyard here in Indiana, and I was like, nope, and now I'm like, nope! Shane Betterman asks the question of the day, pretty much, which is, have you ever considered quick scooping? I'm not sure if that has to do with my dog outside or, like, scooping someone off their feet, but I thought it was a really impressive question. He probably means quick scoping, but I was like, quick scooping? What would I be scooping? I don't really scoop. Adults, when do we scoop? I don't like dig into troughs and gather food, although that's a pretty sweet hand motion. We should do more of that. Do more of that in your life. Do it right now. See how it feels. It feels good. Then you can hug yourself and feel, cozy. Break Guy wants to know, Ghost, where are you afraid of? I read this like, what are you afraid of? But when I look at it again, it's where are you afraid of? So what places scare me? Gosh, that's really spooky. I have a very bad, anxious fear of airplanes and movie theaters. It's dumb and illogical, but I am kind of afraid of both of those. But obviously, like, very scary places scare me. But the place that most of all scares me is the place that is whatever when after you die. Like, that's where I don't want to be, and I'm very worried about constantly. The thought of death gives me chills right now, so I'm going to stop talking about it before I cry. But yeah, where am I afraid of? Airplanes, movie theaters, and then the disgusting beyond that lies after we perish. Leon City 10 says, Ghost, what was your dream car? My dream car has and is and will be a Lamborghini. I think they're super sleek and sexy. They come in bright, vibrant colors. They go vroom vroom, and they look good doing it. I don't know that I could ever purchase a Lamborghini, not only because they cost so much, but even if I had the money, you get into that weird dilemma where it's like, do I really want to spend that much money on a car when there are people who don't even have food or water? It's like a weird issue of, like, even for millionaires, billionaires, at what point do you say, this is all getting really silly and I could buy a much cheaper car that does everything I need it to do, probably safer, and still get where I need to go, and then have all that extra cash to help others and give them a brighter day and a brighter future? Which sounds all sentimental, but it's something I definitely think about. Like, if I ever was at that point where I could afford a Lamborghini, would I really go through with it, or would I find that too foolish? But nonetheless, in Dream World, a Lamborghini sounds like a pretty good time. Bullet says, Ghost, do you have/want any pets? I don't personally have any pets. I never actually have. My family has a dog named of Kobe, who is a miniature poodle, and she is 14 years old and kind of losing it, but she's really adorable and nice most of the time, unless she steals your socks and you want them back, in which case she will bite you. She's been attacked multiple times by other dogs. Her personality has kind of downgraded over the years. But do I want pets? Yeah, I definitely think I do. I hope I do. I'm afraid of big dogs. I don't like shedding. I'm not really a cat person, so it's going to be probably a smaller, allergy-free type dog that's cute and cuddly, something that will sit by me while I record, maybe bark a few times to keep things lively, go for walks, play fetch, do all that sort of good stuff, cuddle up. At one point I really wanted a Savannah cat, one of those sort of more crazy wild cats that kind of plays like a dog, but then they also just sit there most of the day and act kind of weird, so I don't know if I would want that. I definitely don't have or want like fish, gerbils, hamsters, guinea pigs. Like, shout out to all the people that have small rodents living in their house at their own choosing, but that's not me. Like mice, ugh, I don't want that. If it has a creepy tail and those weird little teeth, like, get it away from me because it freaks me out. I would rather have a nice cute puppy that licks your face whenever you walk in. And yeah. Aaron Seven Torres says, Ghost, what TV shows and cartoons were you into as a kid? For me, it was all about Full House, Sesame Street, and SpongeBob. Those are the three big ones that really powered me through my younger years at different times. Not all at once, of course. I wasn't watching Sesame Street when I was 12, and I sure wasn't watching SpongeBob when I was 2 because it just wasn't around. I was alive and at the prime age for the birth of SpongeBob SquarePants. I loved it so much, I brought a VHS of SpongeBob into my school, into my class, and convinced my teacher to show it during creative writing, which I thought was a brilliant success, because while the show is creative, it really doesn't have much to do with school. It was just fun to watch, although it did spark some interesting stories out of people. We watched the Rock Bottom episode. Shout out to those of you who saw that original OG SpongeBob when it aired. I also really liked Dragon Ball Z. A few years later, got hardcore into that. Those battles that would last 6, 7, 8 episodes, man, like that was just series of sagas that went on, and those fights were so freaking awesome. Me and Jake were into that so much. I don't really watch TV that much anymore. If you want to know my current favorites, it's like sports and The Voice, and that's about it. Sam Vaz gets very educational with us and says, Ghost, what's your favorite adverb? I had to remember what an adverb even was. I've been out of freaking school so long. It's so funny how so many things you just don't use in daily life that are drilled into your head for years and years and you feel are of the utmost importance, and then poof, they fly away like beautiful feathers wandering around your skull, and then they shoot off into space only to return when Sam Vaz asks you about them. My favorite adverb, probably perfectly, because I always want to do things perfectly. Maybe crazily, because I am usually doing things crazily. Safely, I'm big on safe. I like being very safe. It's a big deal for me. Happily, I like being happy. There's a lot of good adverbs. Most of them end in ly, and I think those are probably a few of the best. Today's final question comes from Torrenio, and he asks a very deep, important question. Ghost, how does it feel to have siblings? Not what is it like to have siblings, but how does it feel? And I think if we want to get really real talk here, it's super special to have brothers and sisters. I only have brothers, obviously, but it's something that I don't know how I would have lived any other way, especially being like a homebody my whole life and really embracing and enjoying my family. Like, having Jake and Noah there has made things miraculously amazing for me. They're like my best friends. I have so much fun with them. I care about them so much. We've been through so many adventures and fights and this and that, but ultimately like the best brothers I think like I could possibly ever have. I wouldn't trade them for anything. I never had a moment where I felt, speaking of feel, that I wanted like to trade them out or get rid of them or they were too annoying. Like, I adore them and I always have, and they're like two of, if not my favorite people in the entire world, and luckily we all three have a really special bond that, you know, some of you guys have seen through the videos. We really get along very well, even though the age gap is like 24, 20, and 13, like that's a lot of years spread apart, and you could experience some definite schisms, but we don't really have that, which is great. Everybody kind of plays together, and we, you know, modify the conversation and what we're doing when necessary. So to answer your question, it feels really lucky to have siblings, and especially to have siblings as great as mine, and I don't know how I would have made it through my life without them, because I go crazy by myself. I lose my mind when I don't have somebody to talk to or bounce ideas off of. YouTube, I would have probably quit by now. For all the times I freaked out about YouTube and talked to Jake about it and just spew, and he just swallows it up for me and is like, you're a crazy person, but I'm listening anyways. Like, that has been a huge help, so it feels freaking fantastic. Just like it feels fantastic to have you guys as awesome fans. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being superstars. If you want to have your question answered on a future Q&A, just like I said, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/GhostRobo. And when I put out the bat signal, you can ask whatever you want. Hashtag AskGhost is what we do over there. And what we also do is wrap things up with a lovely hot chocolatey goodbye. So thanks again for watching. Have a fantastic day. What did I just say? I think I said hope you have a fantastic day. It just came out really weird and fast. Have an awesome day. Until next time, drink some hot chocolate, and we will see you all later.